Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, my name is Sammy. I've been dropshipping on eBay for the last 7 years, and today we're going to be talking about how to unrestrict your account when you get the MC011 of suspension, and also the best practices on how to avoid that. But before that, we have a guest. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi guys. My name is Marty, and I've been drop shipping for quite a long time, since 2013. I did take a break, quite a lengthy break. I had a successful run from 2013 to 18. I used to have $1 million years in revenue, drop shipping from different retailers. And then it all stopped in 2018 when eBay basically said no to retail arbitrage. So I've fallen back to my cushiony 9 to 5 job and have been doing it ever since. But I came back to dropshipping last year in December.
Mhm.
Now under Sammy's guidance, his wonderful product. Now I've been able to get some really good traction going. And so now we're here today talking about MC011. So let's get that
Mhm.
started.
Yeah, just really quickly before that. Um, so with EcomSniper, like tell us your numbers. How many items did you list? What's the revenue you're seeing, and what kind of profit
Mhm.
are you making,
Yeah,
and your expectations for the next year? Yeah.
yeah. So right now, let me take a look real quick on my store from what I had in the past 30 days. Yeah, so this particular store I've been running since 2013. Or I've had it actually since, oh boy, like 2002, I think.
Mhm.
But I've only been selling since the 2013. So it's an old account, and it's actually flagged for drop shipping, which is not good.
Mm.
It's got a fairly slow sales. I've had right now I have a little over 9,000 items listed. And so I can see right now my past 30 days are somewhere around 35 to 4,000 dollars
Gotcha.
in revenue.
Mm.
So
What are you
what
netting
I've been
from that?
trying to do with eBay, I've called them a couple of times to remove the drop shipping status, and they've been kind of hesitant on that. They've been promising
Yeah.
they'll do that. They've ran a full interview with me, asking me about where I'm sourcing products and so forth. But I'm gonna have to call them again to see what's going on with this. But
Gotcha.
yeah, so that's my current revenue on this store. I recently opened another store, and I'm planning to open more stores
Mhm.
with the hopes of scaling the business. So, but I know that I have to be very patient these days. It's almost a requirement to wait at least a month before putting the first sale.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a bit debatable. Um, I do that just because it kind of works out naturally like that.
Yeah.
But if I was starting off, like we've done it within the first 3 days, right? I
Mhm.
think the real requirement is how the account was opened. If you get a
Mhm.
very high limit from the very beginning and everything's very, squeaky clean, you could just start the process right away. But if you
Mhm.
have like links to other accounts, or your, setup isn't as clean, like let's say you're using like virtual browsers, or like let's say a VPN, maybe your proxy isn't that clean or something like that,
Mhm.
then it would be required to wait a longer period of time. Do you get what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just opened it like 10 days ago,
Mhm.
and I just opened it and I closed, like I closed the browser, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
But
just gonna wait.
it's not like, you have to be careful with this, because we've seen accounts that open up, and if you don't do any activity for 30 days, they suspend you because it's
Uh,
suspicious as well.
yeah.
So what you should do is
Mm.
you spend the
Make a
first 30,
purchase.
whatever the case is, the first,
Mm.
if you're gonna wait the 30 days, the 30 days is a time where you act like a real seller. Maybe you list one book, you get the feel of eBay, then you list like two books, then you go to four, get a sale, and then you continue like the natural progression. That's
Yeah.
the mindset that you need. But just waiting for 30 days is gonna be
Mm-hmm.
like where they're gonna be very, suspect of
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing on the platform. So with
Mm-hmm.
that 4,000 in revenue, how much of that are you
Mm-hmm.
clearing in profit?
Yeah, so I have 100% margins set right now. So I would say with all the eBay fees and FX rates, I should probably be clearing somewhere around 70 to 75 percent, something like that.
So like what's the number like out of 4,000 for the less
Mm.
math savvy people? Like a
Yeah,
1,500 bucks a
so
month?
yeah, let me see. Let me run this real quick. So yeah, somewhere around somewhere around 1,500. Yeah, fifteen
Yeah,
hundred to close to 2,000 maybe. Yeah.
yeah. I believe it's like around 1,500 because you're
Mm-hmm.
Canadian, so you're probably seeing more
Yep.
fees than other people.
Mm-hmm.
You get
That
what I mean?
plus I do have US credit cards,
Okay.
but I get the
Fair enough.
payouts in Canadian dollars, so I have
Mhm.
to transfer that money to my US accounts, checking accounts, so I can pay off those US credit cards. Right?
Gotcha.
So that's
Gotcha.
all the FX fees. They're not huge, but they're still a little bit of a factor.
Gotcha. So then the next question would be right before we jump into the MC's 11, um, can you see the vision like with 30 accounts?
Oh yeah, with 30 accounts, that's quite big of an operation. I've watched your videos. I've seen you talking about this. I know what you do, and I realize how this could be done, and definitely it's doable. It takes time to do it, but it is doable. And so I think it's a great idea. I think that's something that I would definitely be wanting to get into.
True. Just to keep you accountable, like for the next time we take you on, right? You have two eBay accounts right now.
Yeah,
Um, within the next 12 months, how many more eBay accounts do you think you can start up? Yeah.
yeah, it's a great question. I have to let me see. Um, Within the next 12 months, I could probably set up another. I mean, I could set up another 10 accounts easily, right?
Easily, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a matter of setting up self-proprietorships in Canada. If I'm going to go the Canadian accounts route, and just figuring out the phone numbers, the IPs,
Mhm.
right? And so having to prepare the infrastructure for those accounts.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's just the infrastructure because regarding the corporation or if you're gonna do sole prop, you could just theoretically have one corporation, use status change, and then
Hmm.
make the 10 accounts under that corp.
Hmm.
They're
Hmm.
all gonna be linked at the end, but you still have your 10 accounts running with that one
Hmm.
corp. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that can be done.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
like I would recommend you to like spend some time like to figure out like because I think like the business becomes very passive after some time. If you get
Yes.
like a VA on, right?
Yep.
You set up your 10
Yep.
accounts, right?
Yep.
Assuming let with just your numbers right now, just
Hmm.
recreating it. If you do 1,500 on
Hmm.
10 accounts, that'll be 15K a month, which is
Yep.
nothing to sneeze about, yeah?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And then those funds you can use it to go ahead and scale further. Because
Hmm.
having money makes scaling such an easy aspect in the
Hmm.
business, right? It's when you
Oh,
don't
very,
have like
very
the
true.
funds to get like another computer, an IP address, or a phone number. Like these things
Hmm.
become like difficult. But
Yes.
having, reoccurring money coming in becomes
Hmm.
very comfortable thing to scale.
I think the most limiting factor to me right now is just time. So
Time.
I'm so freaking super busy
Yeah,
with
yeah,
my 9 to 5,
yeah,
and then with I teach English, I tutor English on the
yeah,
side, and then I do eBay, and then I
yeah,
also do Shopify, my
yeah,
Shopify project. So
yeah. No, it's
it's
tough. It's tough, dude. Like, what about your wife? Does she work?
She's a hairstylist. Yeah,
Oh, so
full time.
everybody's busy, huh?
Full time. Everybody's busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know, maybe train your kids or something.
Yeah.
Get them
Maybe
started on the business.
she's a 6-year-old, so I don't know. It's a little
Hey,
early.
man, though they start now, within 2 years, they'll be like
Mhm.
geniuses in this
I
business
know,
model, right?
yeah. Just yeah. I think I'd be able to like explain to her what I do on the side and kind of start slowly
It's
explaining her stuff. You know?
Yeah, because if you think about it, like you've been through the whole school system, right?
Hmm.
You're an accountant now, and as you know how to make the realities of how to make money to begin with.
Hmm.
The information that you need to make money is not that much. It's just
Hmm.
the real problem is distilling what's good and what's bad and bring it down to like a pure form of
Hmm.
what you really need. Because there's so much
Hmm.
garbage online. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you're successful, like you can distill all that information and you could probably, like right now, you could probably teach someone how to drop ship on eBay within like few couple of days
Oh yeah. Yeah.
for sure. And
Yeah.
then once you hit it big with your Shopify, you'll be able to do the same thing, right?
Hmm.
Because you just distill the most important information.
Hmm.
Most of the
Hmm.
information that I have is what not to do.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know what I mean? But
Yes.
you don't need to know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. All right, so let's jump into the actual video. I'm gonna pause the
Hmm.
video for 1 second. All right, guys. So Marty has helped a whole bunch of people resolve the MC11. Marty, do you want to just like give your background with the MC11?
For sure. So I've had two MC011s on my old account. One was very early on. I was able to successfully appeal it through. I don't even remember how I did this because it was so many years ago. But the most recent method that I've done successfully was back in February, where I found a legitimate wholesaler that after purchasing their membership on their website, uh, they'll able to give you an affidavit that talks about the legitimacy of their website, of their wholesale business, and you're able to print this and along with all the other requirements of what eBay is asking you to, you can send that along with to strengthen your case. So that's kind of my experience with
Mhm.
MC011. That's been working.
Yeah, but not only yours, you helped a whole bunch of
Mhm.
people as well inside of our group,
Absolutely.
yeah?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how many
Every
people? Yeah, go ahead.
I've helped, you know what? I don't even count
Yeah,
now. I think it's been probably close to 10 people.
yeah.
Yeah, I just, I check my messages and people just message me and I don't even count by now, but I think it's close. I want to say it's close to 10 people now.
You bet. You bet. So when you get the MC11, like the first thing that eBay is gonna ask you, right, is you need this is the requirements that you need to meet to be able to appeal the MC11. So the first is you're gonna need a driver license or government issued ID. They're gonna need a copy of a recent credit card statement, right, that shows your name, billing address, and etc. Number three,
Mhm.
they're gonna ask you for documentation that you purchased your items listed for sale, right? And that's an invoice that Marty was talking
Mhm.
about. Number four, they're gonna ask you for proof of delivery, right? So that
Mhm.
means you either upload the tracking numbers or you proved you delivered the items. And number five, a copy of a credit card bank statement that shows you purchased the items on the invoice. So you
Mhm.
might not get number five, but we're gonna jump into these. So
Mhm.
with number one and two, like these are pretty straightforward. Um,
Mhm.
you just upload your driver license or government issued ID,
Yeah.
and then you should be fine. So,
Yeah.
and then for the copy of the credit card statement, right? What did you guys usually do when somebody asks what statement they should be providing?
So I typically ask them to just get your bank statement to them.
Yeah.
For the wherever you get your payouts, your business account. that you exclusively have for eBay, with your name and billing address that is registered on eBay, is what you should be sending to eBay.
Exactly, exactly. Because when you're uploading the statement, as Marty said, they're just verifying the name, billing address, and the billing address on the account that you registered with eBay. So that's the main thing to consider for 1 and 2. One is just if you're like, I think one question that a lot of people will have is their driver license, the address doesn't match like the account, that the information that they put on eBay. Um, and in that case, I just recommend always just upload a passport. Even though that we have seen that you could just upload a driver license that has a completely different address, it just makes a lot of sense to me just to avoid that potential problem by uploading a passport. But if
Yes.
you don't have a passport, just by all means, just upload your driver license. They're not checking the address on the driver license.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for number 3, the documentation showing that you purchased the items. So can you talk about what kind of invoice that they're looking for?
Yeah, it's basically an invoice. It doesn't have to be anything super fancy. It just needs to be professional, right?
Exactly.
It needs to have all the things that eBay's looking for and all the things that make sense. So the company that you're buying the things from,
Mm-hmm.
it has to have their address, has to have their website, some sort of a contact information. There should be all the items that you purchased from them, how much money you paid for those items, how many you purchased. Potentially you should be putting last 4 digits of your credit card number on this, invoice number. Make sure you change that invoice number for every invoice. Make sure the dates make sense. So let's
Mm-hmm.
say you sold something on eBay on July 28th. So make sure that date is, for example, a week before that, right? Don't make it a day before that, because then
Yeah,
that's just not going to
it's
make much
just
sense. It's
exactly,
going to be
yeah.
suspicious. So make sure it's something that was purchased ahead of time, so that you actually had in front of the eyes of eBay. What you want to do is prove that you do wholesale purchase, right? You purchase from a wholesaler, had it shipped to your house, and then had it shipped to your customer once that order came in.
You bet. You bet. And just to kind of like emphasize on that point, the main thing that they're looking for, right, when they're looking at the invoice, like I've seen invoices go through that had spelling mistakes, right? And the
Mhm.
reason why is because when you look at the invoice, you look at it, it looks like a piece of art sometimes. So not
Mhm.
per se fancy, but it looks legitimate,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Professional.
Yeah.
So it really like this part is bolded because the first impression counts, right? Just
Mhm.
imagine that some real human being is looking at it, and if it looks like you made it on like Microsoft Paint, right? They're gonna have an
Mhm.
issue with it.
Of
So
course.
professional is the way to go. And then
Mhm.
if they don't trust you, like maybe some of the representatives are going to be pretty anal about the suspension. They
Mhm.
might start Googling the company name and they might like take a magnifying glass and look for imperfection. But that's not, it doesn't always happen like that. So
Mhm.
some of the appeal does have to do with the actual rep that is actually looking at it. So the best thing that
Yeah.
we can do is just make it as perfect as we can. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So that means that make sure that the invoice has a company name that actually exists, right? They when they
Mhm.
search up the name of the company, it's gonna appear at the top of Google search. Don't
Yeah.
put like a made up company or something. They're not gonna
Yeah.
they're if they end up Googling it, they're not gonna find it, and right away it looks
Mhm.
suspicious. Yeah.
Yeah, and you should. I also advise to put a logo of their company on the invoice.
Yeah.
This is really got to look legitimate,
Right.
right? And I even initially used QuickBooks to generate my invoice.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually use QuickBooks template with actual logo from the company. So yeah, that's a very good emphasis. The invoice really has to look professional. Yeah,
Exactly.
great example right here.
here's an example, like something like this. They have their logo, right? They
Mhm.
have the invoice, they have the company's address, and then like your product. No, just it has to look and feel real, right? So
Mhm.
you can just go on Google Images, find whatever looks as professional to you. Is this an example of QuickBooks?
Mhm. It's so mine is a little bit different. Mine still, this one doesn't have logo. Mine still
Gotcha.
has a logo in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
but it kind of is that one is, you can tell it was made by some sort of an accounting program
Yeah,
here.
yeah, it looks legit. It looks
Hmm.
legit.
Yep.
Even these kind of invoices like work as well. This one looks
Yeah.
old, but it
Old school.
looks old school, but it looks legit.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's no one solution that works.
Yeah.
Everything works. It's just a matter of the first impression. Does it look real? Like, does
Hmm.
it feel real, right?
Yeah.
Like I've seen guys like send like completely fake looking documents. Like
Yeah.
here's a beautiful one. You know what I mean? If this was like this is, but from here you can see that it looks
Hmm.
like legit. They have the
Yeah.
barcode, they have everything, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so really like once again, just emphasize that that feel when somebody gets right when they look at it, it has
Hmm.
to look and feel real. So that's
Yeah.
the main thing that we're looking for. So for requirement number 4, right, we mentioned over here that they're looking for proof of delivery, right? And they're asking to upload tracking numbers or prove you delivered the items. Yeah.
Hmm.
What do you do when somebody asks when you come across this situation? Yeah.
Yeah, always upload all the tracking numbers from Amazon, right?
Mhm.
One issue is obviously the Amazon TBA. We do want to avoid those. Now, back in February, what I did for those was Aqualine or Blue Express,
Yeah. Yeah.
Blue Care Express.
Yeah.
Now, I know these are going away. Do you remember the date when that's supposed to go away, or has it
Um,
already?
I think it's gone now already.
Is
Yeah.
it already? Okay. Yeah. So if you can't do Amazon TBA, or if you don't want to, you could try Track Taco. Now, I don't know if I don't think Track Taco works
Like
backdated.
backdated. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
The solution, in my opinion, for this one would be
Hmm.
that you're right. That was the traditional way of doing it. Just use Aqualine or
Hmm.
Blue Care to
Hmm.
supplement the Amazon TBAs. But what you're gonna
Hmm.
find when you use Amazon as the shipping supplier, most of the invoice tracking numbers you're gonna get are not gonna be TBA, like from what
Hmm.
we've seen. Like
Hmm.
you're gonna get UPS, you're gonna get FedEx.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
the first attempt that you should do is just upload those ones, right? The
Hmm.
UPS, FedEx, or whatever. And
Hmm.
just if you have 70%, or even if it's 30%, all you gotta
Hmm.
do is pretend to eBay that, hey, I uploaded the tracking numbers. And then if
Hmm.
they say they need more proof, that's when you use option number 2. And
Yes.
so yeah, and for option number 2, like I'll speak about this one because I don't personally use tracking whenever I'm drop shipping on eBay. So the way that I go about it is this is another option to prove the proof of delivery. What I do is I go to my account and I get all the feedback, right, of all the items that I sold and I put them in a PDF. And then in that PDF, I put all the feedback, the screenshots of the feedback for each item that I sold. And then you don't have to get 100% of all of the items you sold. If you get
Yeah.
70%, eBay's they're not going to manually verify if you uploaded all of them or something like that.
Hmm.
Right? They're not
Hmm.
that anal. And if they are, then you
Sammy,
just yeah, go ahead.
I lost you for a second. I think you're fine now. I lost your audio for a second. I think you're
Oh,
fine now.
gotcha. Gotcha. So what I was saying was you get a PDF document open, right? Or Google Docs and you put in all your feedback. And then if you don't get feedback from a buyer, then what you do is you send them a message and ask them, hey, did you get your item? And then they say, hey, yes, I did. I got my item. You take a screenshot
Hmm.
of that, put it
Hmm.
inside the Google Docs, and then you compile like this huge Google Docs of all of your feedback and confirmation that the item was delivered,
Hmm.
and then you send that to eBay, and inside the note column, you just tell them
Hmm.
that, hey, I went ahead and uploaded a PDF document showing proof that I deliver all my items. So
Yep.
the main thing that I want to mention about option 1 and 2 is they don't have to be all of your items
Yes.
like that you sold.
Yep.
That's a misconception because so many people, they come up to us and they ask us, hey, like, I don't have all of the tracking numbers. I don't have all of the, I didn't get all of the feedback. What do I do? They're not going to be, they're not checking all of them, right? They, as long as you put the majority of them, you'll be fine. I've even seen people get away with 30% of the feedback or
Oh,
30%
wow.
of the tracking numbers. Yeah. So
Nice. Very
what
nice.
you would do is you just send in 30 and then they would ask you like, hey, we need more. Like you didn't upload all of them. You send another 10, and then eventually, like as you keep uploading them, they're gonna get you to the next stage, which is sending in the invoice. Do you get what I mean?
And use ChatGPT for a nice message to eBay.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
that
that's
shit
it.
works, man.
That's it. That's the secret, dude.
Yeah.
It's a
I've
real
seen
person seeing it.
I've seen so many times people get emotional.
Mhm.
Do not involve any of your emotions into this. You know, you gotta have a straight face,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
ChatGPT is good with it, you know.
Or let ChatGPT invoke the emotion.
Yes.
You look
Yes.
at it from like a very objective, right?
Hmm.
A very stale perspective, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Almost in a stoic
Hmm.
sense.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
100%. 100%. So the trust and safety team, what they're just looking for is the main, like, yeah, if we try to understand why they're asking for this, the MC011 is to protect eBay's user base from fraudulent or bad sellers. So the reason they're asking you proof of delivery is they just want to make sure that you are actually shipping and delivering the items. So your job is to convey that you are doing that. So your message and the proof that you show should equate to that, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's the
Hmm.
main thing to understand when you're handling the proof of delivery part. So
Yeah, 100%.
don't feel limited if you don't have the tracking numbers. If you want, you have two options to go about it, which
Hmm.
I would recommend that you do an analysis. Like I would start off with uploading the tracking numbers, and if it doesn't work out, great, go ahead and upload the feedback or whatever. Number two
Hmm.
takes much more time though.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you're already uploading the tracking numbers from the beginning, then you don't have to, you're not going to get this to begin with.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So the last part is the bank statement requirements, yeah? Like a
Hmm.
copy of a credit card, a bank statement that shows that you have purchased the items on the invoice. Do you want to take this one?
Yeah, it should be pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
You purchase the items on Amazon, right? So
Hmm.
you do have a proof with the amount that you purchased. So all you'd have to do is, you know, just do a little bit of a photoshopping on it, just to make sure it doesn't say Amazon, right? And make sure to push that date to
Right.
match the invoice
Right.
on that bank statement. And so yeah, just use that statement from your credit card.
Yeah, just pull up whatever statement that matches your invoice and just take one line, and
Hmm.
then what this is what people do, right? They go ahead and upload, they just change one line of the statement and they go ahead and change the recipient or the
Hmm.
charge name.
Hmm.
Like, for
Hmm.
example, if it's like a company like XYZ company, you would put
Hmm.
XYZ company and the payment, you would match it to whatever you put in the invoice, whether it's
Hmm.
5,000, 10,000. Don't put like $1 million because that's not believable,
Yes.
right? Like make it feel
Hmm.
real. That's the
Absolutely.
main thing, yeah. All right. So that sums up all of this. And if it's done right, you should
Hmm.
be able to get your account back, right?
Yeah.
However, prevention is better than the cure. So we're just gonna talk about briefly like why somebody gets the MC011. And there's a niche case
Yeah.
where somebody is not able to appeal it actually, or it's always gonna fail.
Hmm.
So if we go back to the top, right, we're gonna like the reason why that somebody gets the MC011 to begin with is because, by the way, this is like the email that you're gonna be getting, and I think that's
Hmm.
pretty. And this is the page where you upload your documents, and this
Hmm.
is where the comment section that Marty was talking about.
Hmm.
Use ChatGPT for the comment section.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's important. It's important to comment, but
Oh,
because I think I don't even think it's required, but it is optional, I think.
it's
But
optional.
it really should have a very good message. It's really important to
100%.
make your message as clear as possible that you do not engage in retail arbitrage.
Mhm. Yeah, 100%. Like put a nice comment that goes ahead and just verifies that you're a good seller. Like
Mhm.
that is like the what we always send inside of these messages, just to go ahead and validate to eBay that hey, they made a mistake by giving us the MC011 and we're good sellers and we're gonna take care of the people on the platform.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we'll just talk about, for anybody who doesn't, everybody watching this video probably knows what MC011 is, but it's a restriction that's placed on the account because they noticed activity that they believe is a risk to the platform, right? And so some of these activities that eBay thinks is a risk to the platform is having unresolved cases. Do you want to comment on the unresolved cases?
Yeah, there's different. I think INR would be
Yeah.
the most popular ones when a buyer opens up a case because they haven't received the item. And so there's different reasons for it, right? UPS or FedEx screwed up something, or there could be a porch pirate that swiped the package from the porch and they never received it. So you can't for sure know whether the buyer is right or not. But if you had a lot of INR unresolved, that's because you didn't take care of your client, your customer. You can't leave this unresolved. You have to make them happy. And even if it's their fault, so you can still make them happy and refund. There's ways to go about getting your money back from Amazon, so you don't have
Yeah.
to worry about that. But yeah, that's a big thing. Why you probably received MC011.
Yeah. So for sure, just make sure that you are closing all of the cases that you're getting, right? Don't let eBay step in and put a priority to make the shoppers happy with your purchase, with their purchase, yeah? So the second thing that gets somebody an MC011, right? And this is not always the case, right? But not having tracking numbers, right, does pose a threat to the platform, right? And the reason why is because let's say you get a whole bunch of sales, like let's say you're growing very quickly, right? And you're not uploading tracking numbers. eBay is gonna think that you're running away with the money, right? Like what's stopping them from thinking that? So
Yeah.
the solution would be, if you don't, like, I don't upload tracking numbers, so this is not a requirement, but if you can upload them, you should do so, right? This will
Yeah.
help you a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so like, and just like some popular solutions on how to like upload tracking numbers when you're using Amazon as a supplier is, if you can just go ahead and upload the FedEx, UPS, or whatever they have, right?
Yeah.
There is a misconception that um like this is from my evidence and research, right? eBay is not actually going all the way deep down inside of the tracking numbers to see where the origin is, because many people have this idea that eBay is checking the origin, and to some degree it might be true, but what we have seen that big sellers, right, who are doing like 1 million, 2 million a year, they're using tracking numbers that show like different origins. Do you get what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
not necessarily a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So what I would do is I would go ahead and upload like the UPS or FedEx tracking numbers, or actually it's more appropriate to say I don't upload them at all. But I grow my account slowly. Like I don't blitz the market or anything like that. I like to
Yeah.
make like a steady profit on multiple accounts instead of having all my eggs in one basket. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how I've been successful without using tracking numbers, because I get much less. Like if I get 1 to 2 cases, it's not that big of a deal because it's only 1 to 2 because my sales are not as high as somebody who's blitzing the market and making like $10,000 a month in one account.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alrighty. So the next thing that suspends account, and we touched on this previously, is if you grow your accounts too quickly, right? That's
Mhm.
one of the reasons why you're going to get the MC11. So just remember, the MC11 is put onto your account to protect eBay's user base from activity that eBay believes is putting a risk to the platform. So
Yeah.
if you are getting, like, let's say this month you sold a $1,000 worth of items, and then next month you sold $1 million worth of items in like 5 days, it's gonna
Mhm.
scare the hell out of eBay. It doesn't
Yep.
matter how legit you are. The problem is, right? Even if like, we have to consider it from their platform that, let's say that you, even if you did fulfill the items, right, and everybody got their items, yeah, they still would get scared and give you the MC11 or might suspend you permanently. And the reason why is because if you, they don't know if 30 days from now the items are all defective and they're going to get a whole bunch of returns. And if
Mhm.
people are returning the items or have a bad experience on eBay, they're going to leave the platform completely. So
Mhm.
eBay is very scared of a bad buyer experience. So that
Yep.
means that you have to grow your account steadily. Like,
Mhm.
double your sales every month or something. Don't like blitz it and go from 1 to 1 million in like
Mhm.
the next 30 days.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. One of my reasons back in February why I got in the MC011 is, first of all, I had that big break from between 2018 and December of 2023. I didn't sell anything at all. And so
Mhm.
then when I restarted, I in February, I remember I listed like one day, I listed like 4,000 items. I just absolutely blitzed my account with 4,000 items. And that's when I got the MC011.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. It's just, it's too quick. They're
yeah,
scared. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, they're gonna think that
Mhm.
you're Marty's like coming back with a vengeance.
Right, exactly.
I'm telling you. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. The way to go fast on eBay is you got to go horizontally
Mhm.
instead of vertically on an account. Make many
100%.
accounts.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the number fourth reason that you're gonna get the MC11 is having defects on your account. Do you want
Mhm.
to take this one?
Oh yeah, yeah. Never if when you have to cancel the order, never select out of stock. This is this is a really bad choice because it counts towards your defect. So
Yeah.
what I like to do is I always have my customer confirm that he wants to cancel.
Mhm.
I always send them a message. If if they never received the item and you just send them a message and say, hey, you know what, the courier screwed up. I spoke to them and turns out your package was lost in transit.
Yeah.
Do you want to cancel this order so that I can send you a replacement?
Cool.
Always ask those questions, and then once you get a confirmation, you can select buyer ask to cancel.
Yeah. Very true. Always have the customer
Yeah,
choose to cancel the order. And
yeah.
then another reason you might get defects on the account is if you have cases that eBay steps in for.
Oh
So
yeah,
that
yeah.
means you must resolve the cases without eBay being present. So
Mhm.
sometimes for these items not received cases, what I do for a brand new account, always, like, this is my law.
Mhm.
When I have a
Mhm.
brand new account that's not established on eBay, right? What I do is, if somebody open an item not received case, even though I showed them a picture and they're not responding back, I refund them anyways. And
Yeah,
then what I do is I get on a message with them and I tell them that, hey, I went ahead and refunded you, but like, if you got your item, can you just repurchase it?
yeah,
And then
yeah.
usually people are not assholes, you know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's true. When push comes to shove, they don't respond. You know, you can. There's always ways to deal with Amazon so you can get your money back. So it's not a
yeah,
big deal. And
yeah.
do not, and also I advise against selecting buyer ask to cancel if you do not get that confirm from customers. Because if you don't and you keep selecting buyer ask to cancel, eBay will end up sending you a message and say, because they'll
Yeah.
figure it out. They'll
It'll
figure it out
research
that
it
that you're selecting incorrect reason for canceling.
and they'll give you a
And so
defect. Yeah,
and they'll give you a defect
yeah.
eventually. Yeah, they'll do
100%.
something. They'll restrict your selling privileges, whatever. But
Yeah,
well, it will happen.
100%. What I do is when they don't respond to me, I mark it as shipped. and I just wait until they respond back, and then when they do, I just refund them from there. You know what I mean? Just don't click it like willy-nilly. Wait for the buyer to confirm. If they don't, you just mark it as shipped, and then you let the buyer know. Stay in communication. Communication solves all problems, man.
100%.
The one thing I want to add to the defects when item not received case, like a lot of people, they're so concerned about like losing a couple bucks, even though that there's ways to get your money back. Don't fight the customer. You don't ever want to hold on to someone's money that they don't want you to have.
Yes.
Right? They're gonna come back with vengeance. They're gonna give you negative feedback. They're gonna give you a whole myriad of problems. So what you need to do is do your very best to just make the customer as happy as possible. And after the fact, once they're happy, like you can ask them to purchase it again or get your money back from Amazon or something. You know what I mean? Don't worry about the money. The money will come. Like you don't make money from one sale, you'll make it all back in another one. You know what I mean? The account preservation takes preference always.
Yeah.
All right. And then the last thing that we should talk about is having only drop shipping products in your account, like in the beginning. So the reason why I put this here is because on a brand new account, right, you want to typically warm it up properly, right? And the warm up process, I don't always do this, but it is for the ones who are very vigilant, very careful. You should warm up your account by listing items that you have, or Marty, you gave a great solution, the Amazon review images. So just list items onto eBay from Amazon with the review images just in the first like 30 days if you want to be extra vigilant. What I do is I do this for 3 days at a minimum, but I actually do it for 30 days nowadays because like even right now we have 4 accounts that are warming up, and it's been about 2 weeks where we're just listing the review images. Yeah. So that's what you can do for that. And so yeah, that's the solution for that. Don't worry about this solution. The review images works just as well. So the last thing is, why does eBay scrutinize drop shippers, right? And there's a reason why, like eBay did a carpet ban against drop shipping on eBay, because it wasn't always the case, right? They allowed retail drop shipping for, I think, prior to 2018, yeah. And then at 2018 decided to do a carpet ban on all drop shippers, and the reason why is because this business model, right, has such low barriers to entry, right? Everybody and their mother started drop shipping on eBay at one point, and they would get a bunch of sales, provide horrible experiences to shoppers, and those shoppers aren't gonna say that, hey, they bought it from Sammy and Marty. They're gonna say that, hey, I bought this on eBay and I had a horrible experience. So when we sell on eBay, we're representing eBay, and drop shipping on eBay has such a low barrier to entry that very bad sellers start to sell there. So they decided to go ahead and do a carpet ban on all drop shippers. However, if you are a good seller, even if you're an eBay dropshipper from retailers, they're gonna look the other way as long as you make your customers happy. So just make sure that you're resolving your cases, you're making the customers happy. Don't fight for every dollar, right? Like you're gonna make all your money back from other sales, right? So the name of the game is to not get suspended, and that happens by taking care of your customers, and that is by giving a positive buying experience to every shopper that comes your way.
Yeah.
So that would be like the reason why eBay scrutinizes dropshippers. And just to summarize everything, right? Prevention is always better than the cure. We gave you the way to solve the MC011. However, if you're a bad seller, it doesn't matter if you do this, if you try to unsuspend your account. If you had like a whole bunch of negative feedback and all of the likes, right? You're not going to be able to solve this problem.
Yeah. You went below the standard, and you're screwed. It takes ages. It takes forever to bring the account back to above standard. There's ways to do it. You can try and do it, but I think the best way to do it is just open up another account.
Yeah, exactly.
And just learn from your mistakes. Learn from the mistakes. Do better next time.
Do better. Exactly. Right. Like the only time you can ever solve the MC11 is because you grew your account too quickly. But if you got the MC11 because you gave a bad buying experience to people, right? And you are actually a danger to the platform. Like
Hmm.
it's just done.
Hmm.
Like there's no way you're getting your account back.
Yep.
Right? You're gonna get permanently suspended right away. And
Hmm.
it's very obvious to tell if somebody is if was growing too quickly or it's because of they're just a trash seller.
Hmm.
You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, so in summary, the best practice is provide a good buyer experience, don't cancel orders, resolve all cases immediately, provide tracking if you can, and grow slowly. And
Hmm.
the last thing I just want to close off with is if you are drop shipping on eBay and you have negative feedback or you have cases that are open right now, remove the negative feedback, resolve it with the buyers
Hmm.
first, right? That way
Hmm.
when you're appealing it, eBay sees a clean track record. Make sure
Hmm.
you close all the cases before you start the MC11 appeal, right?
Yep.
Start off
Yep.
squeaky clean if you can.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And if anybody like wants to like get into contact or needs any additional help to solve this problem, they can reach out to Marty. Marty,
Hmm.
do you want to talk a little bit about what you can offer somebody that's looking for help?
Yeah. So offers advice, basically a solid advice on how to successfully appeal MC011, but taking all those steps that we talked about in this video. So you
Mhm.
really need to have a solid plan and solid execution for
Yeah.
this.
You only have one
So
chance.
yes, so make sure to get in touch with me. Don't try to do it by yourself. You 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 want to have that guide, that person that tells you exactly how to do it.
Mhm.
So get in touch with me, and I'll provide you step by step. I have some very solid templates, wholesalers that work, legitimate wholesalers that work. So my system works. It has provided success to many people already. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to provide Marty's contact details in the description. And for anybody who's interested in starting eBay dropshipping, we do have a Discord that you can learn all about eBay dropshipping from. Right over here, this is our eBay dropshipping Discord. And lastly, this video is sponsored by EcomSniper. And we do have a dropshipping course that teaches you how to dropship step by step. You know, it is taught by me and Mark, right? And we do provide a whole solution on how to do it. And it comes with the first month free with the course with the coupon code first 100. All right, so that's it for me. Do you have anything you want to tell anyone who's start wanting to start drop shipping on eBay? Any advice? Any words of wisdom?
I'd say, take your time and learn how to do this properly. I've made so many mistakes in my career. It's just unbelievable. Um, should I met Sammy in the beginning of my career, this would have been totally different for me. So I'm even still learning, even though I've had so many years of experience. Sammy, you're still learning
I'm
stuff,
still
right?
learning, dude,
You're
every
you're
day.
still you're finding like very experienced people on YouTube, other eBay sellers who provide tremendous value. So learn and learn again. And if you think you're smart, you're not smart. Learn again. And do it
Good.
right.
Yeah.
Do it right from the beginning. Avoid all the
Yeah.
mistakes. That's why Sam's course is great because it really teaches you how to do it properly.
Right. Exactly. Like just there's so much in this business model because you start off there because the barrier to entry is so learned, we leverage information and
Mhm.
knowledge. Right?
Yeah.
This whole business is predominantly based on that. So take the time to take Marty's advice and really like dive deep and learn the business model properly. Don't experiment. There's no time for that.
Mhm.
Alrighty. Take care,
Sure.
guys.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Bye.